Hello camping fans and welcome to Warrior Camping. Today sadly I am at home. No more camping for me, I am back home today. So today I'm going to have a look at what I bought at the weekend. My expensive Bootfair purchase that cost me a tenner. So let's have a look at it. As you can see, it's a Eurohike Shadow 250. Now, I haven't even had this out of the bag, so if it's not all there, we will find out together. As you can see, two-man tunnel tent, but I think where it's a 250, it's probably a little bit bigger than just a 200. Normally, the 250 means it is sort of 2.5 man, two people and a kid, something like that, or a dog. And as you can see with that moon emblem, it means it's got the blackout. So it should be black, the insides of this one, to keep out the sunlight. So let's have a look at it. Let's open up the old Bootfair special and see what I got for my hard-earned £10 note. Now, I'm not expecting a lot, because the man at the boot there, he did say it's all there, and he said his kids was using it in the garden last summer, so it is a bit faded, because it was sort of pitched for quite a long time last summer. But he did say it's all there, nothing's damaged, it's just a bit faded on the outside, the colour's worn off where the sun's got it, so it's a bit sun-bleached. All the poles look there, and none of them look damaged, no cracks or nothing like that in the poles, so that is a very good start. The poles are good, so I'm happy with the poles. And let's have a look at the rest of it. So it's a bit of a mishmash of pegs, but at least it has got pegs. So far the man was telling the truth. The tent seems to be complete. So let's have a look at the outer cover. Put the bag out the way. Right, so it can't be too difficult to put this up. It's only got two poles, so it's going to be like outer first, I think. I'll just check it in case it goes up inner first, but probably it'll be outer first and then you clip the inner inside. So most of these tents work. And I can't see any like bits for the poles to go through that inner, so it must be outer first, and then you clip this inside here. And yeah, I can see the clips on that inner, so that's the way it goes. Outer first, and then you clip the insides in. So that must be simple enough. So let's put the inner out of the way, because I don't need that for the minute. I need the outer first to get the poles in it. Right, chuck that over there for a minute. Out the way. The blackout innards keep the sun out. So you'll be able to have a lie-in this one. Because when the sun comes up and you're in a tent, it does tend to wake you up. So you get up early at sun up. But I kind of like that in a tent. I like the fact that you get up early. When the sun's up, I'm up. I like that. But these blackout tents are good for the hangover. They should be called the hangover tent, not the blackout tent. Because if you have the hangover, when that sun first comes up, oh, it's terrible. But in the blackout tent, you don't get that. So rather than having a moon on the outside of the bag and called the blackout tent, they should have a picture of a pint or a bottle of wine with a big tick beside it and call it the drinker's tent. So I would say, if you are a bit of a drinker and when you go camping you like to stay up late and have one too many, then the blackout tent is very good for that, and I would recommend it over the one where the sun comes in first thing in the morning and does your head in. Them ones on the bag should have a picture of a pint or a bottle of wine with a big cross over the top of them and a label saying this tent is not drinker friendly. So I've just had a quick look around the tent at the old fly sheet. All looks good condition. There are no holes, rips or tears in it. So I'm putting the poles together now, and imagine the poles are both exactly the same length, because I can't see any colour coding on them, or no colour coding on where the poles slide through, so the poles are probably two poles of exactly the same length, which always makes a tent really easy to put up when the poles are the same, because it don't matter what pole you grab or what sleeve you put it in, they're both the same. So it's a good way when the poles are the same, easy to put up them tents, especially when it's in the dark and you can't see nothing. Having the poles the same length makes it much easier. And they went together all right, the poles, no damaged bits that was hard to slide in or anything like that. They went together really nice. So nothing wrong with the poles whatsoever. They are only the fiberglass poles, which aren't the strongest poles. So you wouldn't want to take this tent out in a false 10 gale. It would snap all the poles. But to be used on a normal sort of summertime, bit of wind and that, the old fiberglass poles can deal with that. I've had them sometimes where these tents have took more of a pounding than you think they can handle. I've been out in tents with fiberglass poles when the wind is going like a good un and you think this tent is coming down, but somehow they have survived it. But I have had the poles break in the tents, these fiberglass poles, but I think that was a lot to do with the fact that the tent hadn't been used for a long time. I think these poles are a bit like fishing rods and things like that. If you just leave them for years and they are not used, they become brittle and that's when they break. Where if they're used kind of regular and flexed about a bit in the wind and all that, they kind of keep their flexiness and then they can survive them windstorms. But I have had them break on the tent that hasn't been used for a while. And you can always tell a tent, if you buy one at the Bootfair or something, if it hasn't been up for years, when you get it out of the bag, you can just tell that it hasn't been up for a long time. Well, this one doesn't look like that. Even the elastic and that in the poles was quite tight. So I would say this tent probably is not that old, really. So it would only be a cheap tent. I haven't looked it up or nothing how much this tent would have been, but it wouldn't have been a lot of money. It's not made out of fantastic material. It is just the run-of-the-mill tent for a bit of camping. It is nothing special, but I've got it now, and if it's all complete and it works, I will take this tent camping, because that's what it was made for, and that's what I will do with it. I will go camping in this tent, and it only cost a tenner, so if anything happens to it, it doesn't really matter. And sometimes in these tents that haven't cost much money and are not the greatest tent in the world, if a couple of you going away in one of these, you do have a laugh with it, especially if the old wind starts going and the old tent is looking like it's going to suddenly blow away. Them sort of times make the camping really funny. You have a laugh in an old tent. Whereas if you're in a really expensive, nice tent and it's getting a bit kind, you can't laugh about it because it's like your pride and joy tent. But something like this that cost me £10, doesn't matter. I can take this thing anywhere, have a good laugh with it, and see how we go in it. I shall do some camping in this and put it on the channel. The £10 Bootfair tent. Well, I might not. I haven't got it up yet. It might go up and you find out it's got a big hole in it, or them innards ain't even the right ones for this tent. So I'm jumping the gun there saying camping in it. Let's get it up first and have a look at it and then decide whether I'm going to take this tent camping or not. So it's got them little pins that go in the poles. They work all right. You normally find them on the cheap tents. But years ago, most tents had them. Years ago, if you bought an expensive tent, it might have had them pins on it. Was just the way they done it years ago. Not now, with the alley poles and all that, they normally clip in them little loops or go in a sleeve or something. But they did have them pins a lot years ago. Nothing wrong with them, they work well, them pins. And they're easy to put together and they're easy to come apart. Whereas sometimes them ones with the clips, when your poles are really tight, 'cause they like lock in, they're really hard to get the poles back out. You feel like you're going to snap the pole. But the pins aren't like that. The pins just go in easy, no problem. And they work well. I've got nothing against the old pin. They've always served me well, and you never really see it now. Apart from on cheap tents like this one, then you still see the pin. So this one is a cheap tent. It looks alright though, I quite like my £10 tent. It was a bit of a bargain, I think, my £10 Bootfair tent. So far, I can't see any damage to it, anything. Nothing, it all looks good, all the straps are nice, all the material looks alright. I haven't checked the zip yet, that might be damaged, because a lot of the times that's the first thing to go on a tent, the zip. But everything looks good so far. Looks quite nice, quite tall. It's quite a big tent actually. So what you want to do with these tents, when you've only got like the two poles where they just fall over, you need to like get one of the ends and peg it out in place. And then when you go the other end and do the same, pull it out and peg that end down, that is what holds it up, because otherwise it will not stay up on its own, it will just fall over. You need to get the poles in, get it up into shape, and then sort of like do one end like I've just done now, put a peg in it, and then start working away from that point, going round it, and pulling it into shape, and then it will like start staying up. It's just the way you have to do it. It's easy once you get the hang of putting these sort of tents up. I've put loads of tents up like this, even the Banshee and a few others I've got. They're the same sort of principle. When they've got the two hoops, you always have to start at one end, put your poles in, get them into shape and in the clips or the pins on this one, and then start working away from that point you fixed it to. Start working away and getting some pegs in to hold it up. And then once you get both ends pegged down, it will stand there nice, because like the fabric of the tent is kind of holding it up. So it's all you need to do, just work back, get hold of the next hoop, work along, line it up in place, pull it nice and tight and get another peg in it, and then it'll start taking shape and holding itself up. So yeah, it all looks alright, this tent. I still haven't found any damage on it. It looks nice condition actually. It is a little bit sun faded like the man said, but it does look nice condition. So if I come round the other side, I'll do exactly the same. Peg the bottoms of the poles out, stretch the tent a bit, take the tension up on it, and then whack a peg in it to hold it in place. That's all you need to do. Once you've done it a couple of times, you just get the hang of it how to do these tents. They are quite easy. Some people don't like them. Some people only want the tents when they're like the freestanding, the poles cross over or something like that, and they hold themselves up because they find these sort of tents hard work. But I don't mind these tents, they go up easy, because you've done them enough times. You know what you have to do, just start at one end, peg it down, and then take the tension up. And yeah, alright, once you got all the pegs in and that, you might have to just go round it again and adjust some of them to like tension it up a bit better once you got it standing. But it's not difficult to put them up, these ones like this. It's really not. It's quite an easy procedure. So as you can see, there's not a lot of room in my garden for this tent. And there is nowhere flat to pitch a tent in my garden. My garden is just a slight bit of a slope, so it's not the best garden for putting a tent up, but it's all I have. So I will make do with it. But it's just where it's sort of like there's a little tiny flat bit at the top and then it slopes away. So the tents are sitting very uneven, and you do find some tents don't like that. They go a bit out of shape. So you might find if I put the odd tent to show you in my garden, it won't look as good as what it would when it was out on nice flat ground, because it doesn't want to like bend to the shape of my garden. But that's all I have, so it's all I use. So if you watch the channel, you'll have to get used to it, because I'm not buying a new garden just to put tents up. I can put tents up when I go out. I'm only putting this one up today to look at it, and I might put some of my others up just to show you on the channel, but they'll have to go here because it is the only room that I've got to put a tent up, and it's not the best, but it's all I have. So let's open it up and have a look at the nice old Bootfair tent. Oh, it's a bit stuck to zip. Oh no, it's just a Velcro. Here we go. Nice. Nice vent on the side. Oh, it hasn't got a little tab in it. That's why I have my hand in there. I thought it might have had the little tabs that hold the vents up, but it hasn't. But the zip works alright. See if the zip works the other side. Yeah, that seems to work alright. Caught on that Velcro again. Here we go, yeah. Open the other vent up. Get some air circulating through the old Bootfair special. So yeah, both sides of the zip working good. Nice door on it, so you can open this right up. Open the front right up, that's good for a bit of cooking. And that vegetable on the front of it, that's massive. So this tent will be good for having a little cook up out the front, I'll tell you. That bit is massive, so you'll be able to cook there, and them side bits will protect you from the old wind. This would be a nice tent for cooking. I like this tent already. I know it's only a cheap tent, but it cost me £10 and I'm starting to really like it. It's a nice tent. It's all good. All the zips felt nice. There's no damage anywhere. The poles went in it nice. It's got a really big bit out the front for cooking, which I like. The door opens right up, which is good. This would be nice in the summer. Look, it opens right up at the front. So yeah, I'm starting to like this tent. Long as the insides fit good and there is nothing wrong with them, I'm very happy with my £10 purchase. And I will take this tent camping, because it'll be a good tent for cooking. And it's massive in there. I could pitch another tent inside this. I could pitch the Banshee or my Rubens or some of the other little tents that I've got. I could put them up inside this for extra protection, because it is absolutely massive in there. Just look at the size of it. This is one of the biggest two-man tents I've ever put up. That is just massive. You could park my car in there, no problem. Go straight in. Or you could use it like that in your own garden. You could put the old table and chairs in there and use it as a cover when you're sitting out doing a bit of al fresco dining. Or even if you're a bit of a DIYer and it's raining and you want to get on with some work, you could put your chop saw and all that in there and keep it nice and dry while you're doing whatever you're doing. So you could pitch this in 10 minutes and put all your tools and things in it, stop them getting wet. So for a tenner, it's well usable, this old tent. It's a bit of a bargain, I think, £10 tent. So let's get the insides in it. The blackout drinker friendly insides. The hangover special. Let's get them in. So these just have like hooks on all four corners. And they hook round the rings. So they got a little hook like that. Little black plastic hook. And that goes on the ring where you see me put like the pin in the poles when I was putting the tent up. There's a little ring on the bottom of them pins. That just hooks round that, and then it's got like toggle clips that just push through a little loop, and then like just lock in there. So you start at the bottom with the lowest ones, and then you just work your way up with the clips. Just keep clipping it round. Start with a low one, then do the top. So that's all they do. They just go through them rings, and the toggle just locks the other side of the ring, and that's it. It's as simple as that. And I think with this one, once these insides are in, you'd be able to leave them in, and then you could pitch it both parts together, which would make it faster to pitch. Or you can take it back out again and do it like this, which doesn't take long. And when you do separate them, at least you know nothing's getting tangled up and all that. So it's whatever you want to do, really. You can leave the insides in this one and pitch it as one, or you can take it back out and wrap it up separately. Fold it all up and keep it separate, and then next time you put it up, you put it all back together. So you can do it whatever way you want to do it. It's totally up to you. It's your tent, you do it how you want to do it. I will probably just leave the insides in, and then next time I put this up, it'll be all ready to go. So yeah, I think I will. I'll just leave the insides in this. At least I can try it then and make sure that it is alright to pitch with the innards in it. Because some of them, although the manufacturer might say, yeah, you can pitch both bits together, where the innards are quite heavy and the poles aren't that strong, when you're pitching both bits together and you're trying to bend it into shape and lift the innards as well as the tent, it does feel like the poles are going to snap. So some of them you are better to take the insides out. So I'll leave them in this one, and next time I do it I'll find out whether it's good to do that or it was a bad move. But so far all these innards are looking alright. No toggles missing, no loops damaged, no rips in the blackout bit. It's all looking good. So yeah, the man was telling the truth up the Bootfair. There is no damage to this tent whatsoever. Just a bit faded on the outside. So that is good. I don't mind a bit of fading on the outside. I've got no issue with that whatsoever. Not for a tenner. This is a great tent for £10. So if you're looking to get yourself camping and you haven't got a lot of money, then something like this cheap tent, it would do you. You'd be happy going camping in this thing. Not winter camping, but summertime camping. This thing would be a good tent. And you'd have a good laugh in this. It would be a nice tent because it's roomy inside. So let's open it up and have a look inside the old hangover special. Yeah, so this is looking nice in there. The blackout, it's looking alright. It's got the little hook to hang the lantern, couple of little pockets. And it's got that horrible floor in it that makes that crinkly noise every time you walk across it. But what do you expect for a tenner? So yeah, you can see, it's got nice pockets in it. Good for storing your phone and all your bits that you don't want to lose when you're in your tent. So that's good, the pockets. No damage in here, all looks nice. Can't see any holes in it. And you would see holes quick in this blackout bit because the sun would be shining straight through. You'd notice it instantly. And I can't see anywhere where it looks a little bit damaged or anything. So I'm happy with the innards in this. This is a good tent. And it's big in here as well, I tell you. For a two-man tent, this thing is absolutely massive. See, I'm laying down now, and there is loads of room in here. That's how I'd be. My head ain't touching the top, and I'm in there. And if you look at the room I've got beside me, there's tons of room for someone else. I've had 4 people before in tents smaller than this. Like my Hurricane is smaller than this inside. We've had 4 or 5 of us in that. When we've been away and their tent has just got destroyed by the wind and my Hurricane is still standing like a good un, and they've had to pile in mine. Yeah, we've had like 4 or 5 people in it, and that is smaller than this. So I reckon you'd easily do 3 people in this, no problem. So it's all complete, this tent, it's all good. So I will definitely take this tent camping, because after all, that is what it is for. A tent is for taking out camping. And this would be quite nice to take out, I reckon. It's a lovely bit out the front for cooking. Tons of room in here. Be nice with the old blackout. Yeah, this would be great. Like, look how big that is out there for a bit of cooking. With that door open, this thing's massive out the front. So that's a great place to cook. There's enough room out there to do a bit of twig stove cooking. Because a lot of the tents I've got, you can't really cook with the twig stove round them. There's not enough room, so I use the trangia. But this tent, I'd be able to take a twig stove with this and get it going in that bit out there. There is plenty of room for a bit of twig stove cooking with this one. So yeah, this is the Eurohike Shadow 250. Really great tent, I think, for the money. So if you are looking for a cheap tent, this wouldn't be a bad way to go. It's a very nice tent. And I would say, if you think, oh, I'm going to go out to Bootfair and get a tent at the weekend, they don't come up there that often. Most of the tents I find at the Bootfair, and I do go Bootfair every week through the summer, most of the tents I find are them terrible, like, festival pop-up tents, and no one wants one of them. They are just the worst. So to find something like this at the Bootfair is quite rare. You don't really see anything like this up there. A better place to look for a cheap tent is charity shops. I've found quite a few over the years in charity shops. I've found good tents as well in charity shops that are like cheap as anything, and it'd be a tent that if it was on eBay it would have made quite a bit of money, but in the charity shop it is dirt cheap. So the charity shop is definitely a good place to look for a budget tent. Because on eBay, tents are expensive. Everyone is on eBay looking for tents, and they always make top dollar. You're not getting something like this for £10 on eBay. It just ain't happening. I don't know what this would make, but it would be a lot more than a tenner. So the charity shop, that's my recommendation. Want to get yourself a cheap tent and do a bit of budget camping, the charity shop is the place to go tent hunting. And alright, you might not find one in the first charity shop you go in, but if you've got a few in your town and you go in like every week for over a few weeks, you will find a tent in there because the charity shops do have quite a few come in now. So it's a good place to go. So there you can see it. The Eurohike Shadow 250. So yeah, I'm happy with this for a tenner. This is the best tenner I've spent in ages. I will get this tent out camping. I might take my mate with me and we'll go out and check out the Shadow 250, because I bet this thing is alright. This will work alright. Alright, it's not a fantastic ton of money of tent, but that doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what tent you've got. All that matters is the getting out and the camping. And as long as you don't have absolutely terrible weather, you will be more than happy in a tent like this. As happy as you would be if you had a £500 tent. If anything, if you went away camping in mild weather, you'd be happier in this than a £500 tent. Because you would think this tent only cost you tenner, and that would make you smile. So you'd be happier in a tent like this. You'd have more of a laugh in it than if you went camping in a £500 or £1,000 tent. Because having all that loads of money's worth of gear sometimes takes the fun out of it. What makes it fun is something like this and just going out and having a laugh with a few mates or your partner, whatever. But sometimes these little budget tents that you've got for nothing, they are fun to use. I've got the really expensive tents and yeah, I love them, but I still use these cheap tents now and again just for the fun of it. 'cause they are good fun to use. Bit of a budget tent is always a giggle. So let's get a tape measure in here and see how big this whole thing is inside. Now these will only be rough measurements. I'm not going really accurate. So you can see that's about 78 inches long. So 78 inches is the length of the Shadow 250. So let's see how big the vegetable is. So as you can see, that vegetable is massive. That is about 44 inches, I'd say. So that's a massive bit of space for a bit of cooking or storing your gear. It's got tons of space, this, and you could always throw a tarp down in there and keep it nice and dry. Put all your gear on that. This thing's got loads of room. Or if you was like taking your bag of clothes and all that, just take a bin bag with you. If the tent hasn't got a ground sheet in the front bit and you want to store your gear out in there, just take a bin bag with you and put your bag in that and tie the end up, and then it'll all stay lovely and dry. Even if it's sitting on wet ground, it will be fine. So let's have a look at the width of the tent. As you can see, it's about 63 inches wide. So let's check the actual overall width of the tent. So that's like outside to outside, it's about 69. That other measurement was just the width of the inside sleeping compartment. So it's got loads of room in here. If two of you was using this tent, you'd be very happy in there. You'd have loads of room. And it's not like ridiculously heavy, this tent. If two of you had this and you split it up, so one had the inner and the poles and the other had the outer and the pegs, say, it's not that heavy. You'd easily carry this. So you can see the height of that inner, that's about 40 inches to the top of the sleeping, and then 47 to the top of the tent. So quite a nice sized tent. Lovely for two people to stay in this. And not that heavy. I carried this the other day, plus another tent, plus all my gear back from where I was camping. So, and it wasn't a problem, it wasn't that heavy, so I'd happily carry this on my own. And it would be like a camping mansion if you was in here on your own. Everyone else would have their little tiny tents, and you would be like the king or the queen of the campsite with your massive palace. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe so you can join me again. And I'm off now, so let's go. Shadow 250 camping.